Why do you have to freaking flashcards? Okay, I just started it.
Okay. So then you're gonna can you edit it then too? You have to?
Yeah, I think there's
Okay.
Did you start it? Yeah, it's there. Oh.
Okay. So for our project, we decided to discuss the multiple uses of a colander and the history as well as practical theories that it can be related to. So the etymology of the word colander, it is derived from the word column, which is a Latin word meaning sieve or filter, and over the past couple decades it has evolved eventually into the word colander. It is used to drain liquids from pasta or vegetable greens, and it's a common household culinary item. And it's commonly confused with the word strainer, which a strainer is typically a lot smaller and it has a lot smaller holes. So that's typically used with smaller vegetables or rice or smaller beans, when a colander is better for large pasta like spaghetti or just washing larger vegetables in general. In recent news, there was a man in Wisconsin who was not allowed to take a driver's license photo with a colander on his head. He identified as part of the religious group the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, who they basically just wear a colander on their head and worship the Flying Spaghetti Monster. And he believed that he could be taking a photo with that on his head, but the DMV said no. And its purpose?
So the calendar is a preferred bowl, and it can be made of plastic, stainless steel, and aluminum. And then the purpose for it is like shield from the sun, and then it's also to be used for a party hat and a lampshade. And then for the shield us from the sun, it can be used to protect yourself from the sun, where you won't catch sunburns or like UV rays, I believe. And then a party hat where you want to go hang out with your friends. You can go to a party and celebrate. People will think it would be cool for you to do so, because you can use all different type of designs for a colander, because it's just not one type of design that you can use for the top of your head. Then a lampshade, like those grown-up designs, the lampshade you can use to put on your light, and you can use it for a party decoration or for a room decoration as well.
Yep, so there's a lot of different uses for the colander.
Here's the ad. Colander hats are the way to party. Try out our new colander party hats. Ditch the old paper party hat look and try our new colander hats. Not only do they come in a variety of fun, expressive colors, but they also protect your head in intense party scenes. Give our product a try and party hard. Visit our website at www.spothead.com. You can also email us at colandermovement@hotmail.com. Cognitive dissonance theory not only has to do with the behaviors, but also the attitudes, opinions, and beliefs, and it's also the psychological tension that we experience. There's 3 fundamentals to the cognitive dissonance theory. The first is that people are sensitive to change. So that means that there's not a huge correlation between people changing their beliefs and their actions. Next is that recognition of dissonance will motivate people to create balance. So the larger amount of dissonance, the higher motivation for people to create a balance. And then the third is that it can be resolved in 3 different ways. The first is to change their beliefs to align with the decision or action that was being made. And that doesn't happen that often. It's more rare because people aren't normally changing their beliefs for every action. The second is to change the action. So you can't go back in time and change the action. So it's just living with the decision that was made, but it's not making that decision again. And the last is to change the perception of the action. And ultimately you're just justifying your behavior or in that situation to create a balance again. So there's 2 studies that support the ad. The first is called An Update with a Focus on the Action-Based Model Study. This was put on by Eddie and Sydney Harmon Jones. And they focus on the knowledge-based decisions, so it's just taking all the knowledge around you before you make a decision that aligns with your beliefs. They also talked about self-affirmation, which more dissonance creates stronger motivation to create a balance, and that goes along with the second fundamental of dissonance theory. The The next study is the cognitive dissonance theory study, and they focus on social influence and how it affects the buying process. And that's supposed to add because as you see more people buying calendar hats, that'll motivate you or influence you to also buy those hats.
Another way this is used is as a lampshade. So the colander will actually go right onto the lamp as a lampshade, and it's more meaning than you'd think. So these things could include creative patterns on the wall. So if you go out and purchase different kinds of lampshades or colanders as lampshades, you could get as many patterns as you'd like to fit the decoration of your room. This could also help with protecting your eye and your body because UV rays, the focal point of the room. So this could actually draw in a lot of people when you have company over and you're entertaining. There's going to be more light emission in your room, and then this could also be a conversation piece while talking with your guests when you have parties.
And here is the commercial that we have advertising our colander as a lampshade.
Okay, so in regards to using the colander as a lampshade, we can use Heider's theory to relate to this, which is the balance theory. And this relates to 3 different categories which promote the feeling of balance in one's life. So one end of the triangle in this balance would be you. The other end of the triangle would be the other person that you're associating with or the audience. And then the last end of the triangle would be the thing that you're trying to be persuaded to use. So an object, attitude, belief, or behavior. When making the decision to use a colander, it can be influenced by friends or trusted people in your life who's promoting the colander. So say a celebrity was promoting it, that would make me want to use it more, but if it was a celebrity I didn't like, then it would persuade me to not use the colander as a lampshade. The type of colander that you're considering using as a lampshade and what the outcome could be with that, what you're trying to accomplish with the colander being used as a lampshade. So there are 2 ways that this could go. It can be balanced or unbalanced depending on how many positives or negatives are in this equation. So if it's all positive, so say I like my friend Hannah and Hannah likes the colander as a lampshade and I like the colander as a lampshade, there would be no question. We would use the colander as a lampshade because everything in this equation is positive. It can also still be balanced when there's a negative in the equation. So say I like my friend Hannah and I like using a colander as a lampshade, but Hannah doesn't like using a colander as a lampshade. I would still use the colander. I would still be friends with Hannah. She would just have to not like it when she's over, which is fine. I can still use it. I would still be persuaded to use it. But if there's an even number of negatives, then that is the result of an imbalance or an unbalanced theory. So if, say, I don't like the colander and Hannah doesn't like the colander, then there would be no point in using the colander. No one wants it. So that's what would happen, and then you'd be unpersuaded to use it.
So now that you've seen all of the different uses of a colander, hopefully you are persuaded to go out and buy a colander of your own to use as a shield from the sun, or a party hat, or as a lampshade. That's it. So we're still at like the same time.
Were we?